During World War II, German soldiers learned very quickly that American artillery was not something you waited out. It arrived fast, often without warning, and almost always exactly where it was needed. Across the Western Front, captured German officers described the same experience. Once American troops spotted a target, shells followed within minutes. Not after long adjustments, not after ranging shots, just sudden, accurate fire that seemed to come from everywhere at once. This speed was not the result of superior guns. In fact, German artillery pieces were often equal or even better on paper. The real advantage lay in how the United States Army organized, calculated, and delivered fire. The problem of World War I. During World War I, artillery was powerful but slow. Each battery calculated its own firing data. Communication was fragmented. If conditions changed, everything had to be recalculated from the beginning. Fire missions could take 15 minutes or more to prepare. After the war, the U.S. Army treated this delay as a critical weakness. At the Field Artillery School at Fort Sill, officers began rethinking artillery as a system rather than individual guns. The Fire Direction Center. The breakthrough came with the creation of the Fire Direction Center, or FDC. Instead of each battery working independently, all firing calculations were centralized at the battalion level. When a forward observer called in a target, the FDC immediately assigned guns, computed firing data, and issued commands to multiple batteries at once. This eliminated duplicated calculations and reduced confusion under pressure. By 1942, every American artillery battalion was equipped with a functioning fire direction center. Faster math, faster fire. Centralization alone was not enough. Calculations still had to be fast. In 1940, Captain Abbott Burns introduced the graphical firing table. It was a transparent, slide rule-like tool that allowed enlisted soldiers to compute firing solutions in seconds instead of minutes. What once required trained officers and lengthy calculations could now be done rapidly, even in combat conditions. Response times dropped dramatically, from over 10 minutes to as little as 3. Trained observers everywhere, speed also depended on information. Unlike most armies, the U.S. Army trained forward observers down to the company level. These observers carried reliable SCR 610 radios and were embedded directly with infantry units. They did not need to search for permission or wait for intermediaries. They could call for fire immediately, often while under enemy attack. Eyes in the sky. Perhaps the most feared symbol of American artillery was the L-4 Cub observation aircraft. Slow, light, and unarmed, the Cub flew low over the battlefield, spotting enemy movements miles away. German soldiers learned to recognize its distinctive engine sound. When they heard it, they took cover. Within minutes of a Cub sighting, artillery shells followed. For German units, daylight movement became dangerous. The result: by 1944, American artillery could deliver accurate fire within 3 minutes of spotting a target. It could coordinate dozens of guns simultaneously, and it could do so repeatedly, all day, across an entire front. This speed made maneuver nearly impossible for the enemy. Attacks were broken up before they formed. Counterattacks were crushed as they began. German prisoners summed it up best. Of all the weapons they faced on the battlefield, American artillery was the one they feared most. Not because it was bigger, but because it was faster.